Breaking news for the Mountaineers. Breaking news for the Pokes. Both teams adding late additions here today in the transfer portal. Couple additions apiece. We got to get to them. Let's roll, baby. This is a Locked On West Virginia, Locked On Oklahoma State crossover with myself.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host here. Welcome back in the Locked On West Virginia / Oklahoma State, baby, where we're doing a crossover episode, but I'm alone. It's a crazy time to be alive, man. This episode obviously going to be brought to you by our friends, and we do love our friends always, as always, at Rugiet. Look, if you've been thinking about taking the next step, now's the time. Head to rugiet.com/lockedoncollege and get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rugiet Ready, where you can feel present, feel confident, and feel ready. All right, so I am adding in my background now as we speak. I guess the one thing I forgot to do was add in the background. Oh, Lord. But that's okay. We can get through that really quickly. All right. So, bang. All right. And then let me get this done right. There we go. Boom. There we go. We are here. All right, guys. So, we got a lot to get to. We're going to separate everything, West Virginia and Oklahoma State. And let's roll with this, right? There's not a whole lot of time in an episode, so we just got to bang it out, baby. A couple commits apiece for each team. And I was updating this literally as of 5 minutes ago. So Oklahoma State literally just signed a guy. Luckily, I was prepared and looked at some of his stuff earlier because I knew it was a possibility. All right, so West Virginia gets a commitment from DJ Eps, a wide receiver / kick returner from Troy, 6'1", 185 pounds. He's got a year remaining. At the end of the day, guys, this is a kid that can really go. 14 games, 47 catches, 512 yards for 5 touchdowns on 71 targets. Played 628 snaps for the Troy Trojans last year. He had 200 yards after the catch. He had 23 first downs, which was on 49% of his catches. He had six contested catches out of 14 attempts, which is a really good ratio on contested catching balls. And look, he causes a lot of missed tackles, right? That's what he does. This is an elusive slot type returner that can also go deep. That's an elite kick returner as well. 23 kick returns for 554 yards. An 80-yarder was his long on the year. When you're studying the film on DJ Epps, he's got clean route stems. He's got strong leverage and awareness of where he's at on the field. And he's also a decisive runner, right? So he really just takes off and accelerates and does what he does. And he gets yards after the catch. He's also a willing blocker. He scored pretty well on 223 run blocking snaps. I noted that because West Virginia, to be a stem blocker in this offense is very important. And like we said, he's also a reliable return man. He is a very functional player that I think will slot in probably around wide receiver 3 for West Virginia and possibly be their top return guy. I think that's the projected role. He's going to play slot. He's going to play a little outside. I think he could be a hybrid. I think he's also going to be a primary or secondary kick returner and also a primary or secondary punt returner. So you're looking at a guy that has some upside here. At the end of the day, worst case scenario, he's a rotational wide receiver that gives you some return value. Best case scenario, I see him as a chain mover, potentially to get into that 700-yard range, somewhere in there. As an impact, for the transfer portal impact meter, I've got him at a 40.5 out of 50, which is right around the range I have some other guys. But the bottom line is DJ Epps makes West Virginia's offense more dangerous. And he is the kind of guy that Rich Rod and company love to use in the slot, down the middle, etc., on reverses, just all these different things you can do in an offense like West Virginia's. Now, moving on to Oklahoma State, Ethan Wesloski, linebacker, which was North Texas' leading tackler last year. You know, once you got past the big three offensive names at North Texas, Ethan Wesloski probably stood alone and on the defensive side of the ball. He was not just productive, guys. This is a guy that really, really was a pest towards other offenses, and is somebody you had to find on every single snap. This is a really good ad by Eric Morris and Company. 2025, he had 104 tackles, which led the team. 9 tackles for loss. He had a couple sacks. He had a couple forced fumbles. He had an interception. And for his career, 231 career tackles, 21 and a half tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 38 games played, 28 starts. As an experienced linebacker that you're going to bring in and you're going to plug and you're going to play. This is a guy that's not playing games. He's not playing around. He doesn't have much time left. He's going to come in and he's going to give you an instant impact on the defensive side of the ball. Absolutely. And I think he's a guy that you can for sure look to as a leader on the team as well, right? I mean, anytime you get a guy like this, and I feel like you should be excited about it because guys like this don't grow on trees. He fits that prototypical – I know I keep on mentioning Rodriguez from Texas Tech, but if you look at Ethan Wesloski, 6'1", 234, so he's 235, which means he has the size to absorb hits, no doubt about it, right? 59 of those tackles are solo. He has a very low missed tackle rate. Can he carry that on to the Big 12, where he's going to be getting a lot of action in the middle of the field? He's certainly athletic enough, and he's certainly athletic enough to play in coverage. Probably either 2 or 3 down backer at the Big 12 level because he's such a tweener. But I am curious to see if he can continue to raise his game up another level. The American's as high a level as you can get it before you get to Power 4. So, I do think there's a level of this that you like, but there is a small bit of concern, right? So last thing on him I would say is this, if you look at the projected role, I think he's obviously going to compete to be your starting middle linebacker immediately. At worst, he's one of your top rotational guys, and he's probably the green dot candidate, right? He's going to wear the green dot on the helmet and be in the communicable role that you need him to be in. And I think your best case scenario, he's your best defender, 100-plus tackle season. Worst case scenario, I think this guy will be a high-usage rotational linebacker. And for the transfer portal impact meter, I give him a 43.5 out of 50, which is, bordering on what I would consider 4 stars. He is going to be the heartbeat of any Oklahoma State defense you probably see this year, and I think he's a really good haul for the Pokes. All right, so we'll go to break really quick. West Virginia got a big one from Wisconsin yesterday. We got to talk about it. We haven't talked about it yet, so let's do that right after the break here on Locked On West Virginia and on Locked On Oklahoma State's crossover. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia and Locked On Oklahoma State going to be brought to you by our friends at Rocket Money. We haven't talked about Rocket Money in a while, but tax season is coming around, so it's not like, it's definitely not like that these dudes aren't in the mix right now. So let's be real. Managing your finances can feel overwhelming. Between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down those hidden fees? Well, if you look at Rocket Money, that's where they're coming in. That's a personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your saving, which is what we're all trying to do. I was shocked when Rocket Money showed me I was paying for 2 Netflix subscriptions, as a matter of fact, and I kept paying the daggone DoorDash subscription every month that I didn't even use anymore because Uber Eats can actually find my house. This is legitimate. So I totally forgot about that. So it did save me money, actually, when I looked into this. It's not a lie. That's a real thing. Probably an indictment against me, but at the end of the day, guys, I love how it tracks all my subscriptions and lets me cancel them right in the app with just a few taps. No more hunting down customer service numbers. The automatic transaction categorization is a game changer, no doubt about it. So let Rocket Money help your financial goals faster if you want to reach them. Join rocketmoney.com/locked on. That's rocketmoney.com rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. And of course, we're sliding into segment 2, but first we got a crack a do. We got another commitment for Oklahoma State. We got another commitment for West Virginia, and we got visits, and we also got somebody. I told you guys on X earlier for West Virginia fans, we should be getting a starting offensive lineman in the portal today. I don't know if it's happened yet since I've been buried in research, but we will have one today at some point, from what I understand. I reported this hours and hours ago. I just don't want to put the name out there yet. Oh, man. So, okay, let's dive back into the next guy for West Virginia. Then we'll do the next guy for Oklahoma State. For West Virginia, it's Geimere Latimer. He committed yesterday. I just didn't get to it, and I wanted to, but I was so tired. I did 5 videos yesterday. I did 2 for Locked On West Virginia, 2 for Locked On Oklahoma State, and a squad show. So I was just worn out. I mean, that's almost 3 hours talking, so it's just, you got to give yourself a break at some point. And that's all that research in between. And because I can't just come on here and not know anything. I don't want to just pretend like I'm winging it. Geimere Latimer is a slot that's corner, 5'10", 191. He's the brother of elite running back Amari Latimer, who we just flipped from Miami and Ohio State. This is a big one, guys. This is scheme, need, and timing all marrying together at the exact time. When Geimere Latimer entered the portal, we became the program to watch. 2 years under Rich Rodriguez at Jacksonville State. We know what he did there. 4 interceptions, guys. Really good when he was playing for Zach Alley at Jacksonville State. But you move up to the Power 4 level into the Big Ten at Wisconsin, and it was a secondary that badly needed an overhaul, and unfortunately, they just haven't won or done very much there at Wisconsin. So I think, it didn't work out for him there, even though he had a nice year. It wasn't like he totally fell off and had nothing. It's just, I think it was probably a combination of you're on a bad team and you're trying to learn this new role. Well, now you come back into a West Virginia situation where, yeah, there may be some brushing up that needs done here, but you're going to be in a situation where you're feeling pretty good about that. 1,339 career snaps is a lot. That's very experienced. 422 of those snaps, were at Wisconsin. He had 66 completions allowed on 102 targets. So, that's an area of his game I think probably that needs to be worked on a bit. But where he shines is in the box as a hybrid linebacker, as a run defender, in my opinion. He has elite scheme IQ when it comes to the run portion of the run game. He also has really good positional flexibility because he is a very, very hard hitter. As a matter of fact, he may be one of the hardest hitters in the Big 12 next year. He complements he's actually very similar to Fred Perry, very similar. He is disciplined in coverage. It's just that in the Big Ten, he was on a really bad defense last year, and I think he got put in some bad situations. Just my personal opinion. I went and watched about 2 or 3 hours of Wisconsin stuff early this morning, like 6 a.m. First thing I did was open my phone. After brushing my teeth, I opened my phone and started watching Wisconsin stuff because I wanted to see what Latimer did last year at Wisconsin. It was rough at times, but I do think that they were a bad overall defense, and I don't think he was put in a great position. Like, he was in a position a couple different times this year where he was guarding one of the most skilled players on the field for the other team. That's not his role. He's more of the guy that's going to battle it out with a tight end or maybe with the running back. But goodness gracious, man, he was ended up on slot receivers that were just really fast. He's not going to do well in that situation. He's one of those. He's more of a linebacker / defensive backer than a defensive back / linebacker, in my personal opinion. So, I like him to play that nickel role in West Virginia's defense where you're playing the run most of the time. And you can get him off the field for nickel packages that require coverage if you have to, if you're able to sub. At the end of the day, guys, he's got 700-plus snaps. I think that's, not more than he's got 1,300 plus snaps. I think at West Virginia this year, he could play somewhere near that role. 700 snaps is what I meant to say. Worst case scenario, he is a rotational piece. Hard edge meter or a transfer portal impact meter, I've got this one at a 43.5 out of 50 for all the reasons we talked about. He was already really good in this scheme. You don't have to teach it to him again. And they brought him back. If he wasn't any good, I don't think they would bring him back. And he gets to reunite with his brother. The vibes are going to be high. There's a lot to love about this pickup, guys. So Geimere Latimer, welcome home to West Virginia. I spoke with Jaimere's dad earlier. Very happy to have the kids back in one place. Now they don't have to worry about figuring out whether to go to Wisconsin or West Virginia. They can just go to West Virginia. So congratulations to the Latimer family, much deserved. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Geimere does at West Virginia this year, because I do think he's a really good football player that was placed in bad positions last year. All right, Oklahoma State, you have added, and this is breaking news, Billy Walton III, a defensive back from Oklahoma, not from Oklahoma State, but defensive back from, want to make sure I got this right here. That doesn't seem to be right. Hold on one second here. Yeah, from SMU. 6'3", 255 pounds, and he's an edge player. So I don't know why I have defensive back on here. It seems like I must have typed in the wrong thing. Let's see. Make sure I got the right thing here, because this is breaking news. Like I said, I had looked at it earlier, but I don't know if I put the wrong thing in or not. It's crazy. Sorry about that. All right, let's try that one more time here. Make sure I'm doing the right thing. I'll pull up his stats on Google as well. All right, so looking back at this, it looks like, okay, not a ton of production there last year. So, I remember looking at him on film, though, and he does have some burst off the line. He uses his hands well. And at 6'3", 255, this is a guy that you can absolutely count on as far as to set an edge. I remember he was pretty good at that. He played the edge last year at SMU. So Oklahoma State's made it really clear through the portal, their behavior in the portal, that upgrading the pass rush is going to be a priority for them this year. And Walton does fit the mold of a player who can earn snaps rather than be handed snaps. So I think his profile is he's an edge defender with experience at setting the edge, whether that's in high school or, a little bit there at SMU. I remember watching some of the stuff on him earlier. He can stand up a little. He can put his hand in the dirt a little bit. And, you're going to find out, is he physical enough to hold up against the run in the Big 12? We'll see. But he probably is a more developmental upside player with rotational value. So it's not a headliner. But at the end of the day, it's roster math, right? You got to get to a certain number of bodies. You have to add pieces. And this is a power 4 piece you've added. This isn't a guy from the group of 5 that has no snaps. This isn't a guy from the Sun Belt that has no snaps. This is a guy from the group of 5 that's got a couple snaps under his belt. Let me pull up exactly what he has here. Billy Walton. Is that the right name? Am I saying the wrong name again? No, it's right. Billy Walton III. Because, it's got me messed up because I keep thinking of Bill Walton. You know what I mean? It's like if I knew Bill Walton in a previous life and I had a nickname for him, it would be Billy Walton III. All right. So, yeah, he had 2 sacks last year at SMU. Okay. So, looks like he played in – hold up here. Am I seeing Texas on here? Hold on a second, guys. We're finding this out by ourselves or on our own here. He's from Grand Prairie, Texas. He had 2 solo tackles, 2 sacks last year. Defensive end, like we said. Yeah. So, not a whole lot of production in his career, but that's okay. What is this here? Did he play at Texas too? Or what is this? Yep. So he started at Texas, guys. My apologies. I didn't have that on there, but we're reacting to it in real time. I mean, it says here's an article that says the Longhorns have lost two very talented prospects to the transfer portal. And it says the first one is another guy, but the other one is coming out of South Cliff. No, wait, sorry. I'm talking about Burrell. And then the other one is Walton, the Longhorns, who will have to find two more spots to trim down in order to reach the 85 player limit. And that should they want to take any more, perhaps they will. But for Walton, who appeared in two games during his freshman season against Wyoming Baylor, did not report a stat in either game, but was looked upon as an high upside edge with potential to be a star in the future. So that's how Texas saw him. He went to SMU and he had 2 sacks. Does he have all the stats that you're going to want? No, but it looks like he's got some talent. And as Cody is telling you in the chat, that's pretty cool. So, all right. What else do we have here? I think we have some other things going on. Oh, yeah. I told you guys West Virginia had some stuff, as far as in the hold up, wait a minute. We got breaking news. It's huge news. It's a monster news. Hold on a second here. What am I missing? Cam Cook to West Virginia? Holy smackerel. The nation's leading rusher, Cam Cook. Guys, this is monstrous if it happens. Yeah, that's it. So this is big. I'm making sure I'm checking with somebody here. Yeah, it looks like it's not official yet, but Cam Cook would be an absolute massive get for West Virginia. You're talking about a guy that ran for almost 2,000 yards last year. Cody, can you look and while I'm on, because I'm doing something else. If you're here, Cody, can you look and see what Cam Cook did last year at Jack State and put it in the chat for me to read? That way I can, because I can't go off into a search at the moment. Just do me a favor and look up Cam Cook from Jack State and look at his numbers. All right, guys. We got a couple other things for Oklahoma State too that I wanted to get to as well. Looks like we've got around 60 people from Oklahoma State watching still, about 113 people from West Virginia watching, for almost 200 people in here. If you can, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll go to break really quick to give Cody time to look that up, and we'll be right back here on Locked On West Virginia and Locked On Oklahoma State crossover. And this episode is going to be brought to you by our friends at And We Have No Read. Oh, okay, cool. Well, we're back. We're back. 1,659 yards last year. So good play. Obviously, we know he started his career at TCU. This would be a 10 out of 10. This is as good as it can possibly get. You can't add a better player. Like, you can go down the list of things you can say. You can't really do better than Cam Cook at running back. He's an elite player, and it would certainly be exciting. You're upgrading over Jaheim White. You're upgrading over Ty Edwards. You're upgrading over a lot of people. 16 touchdowns, 5 yards per carry, and I think he caught a lot of balls last year too. So this is a big one. Visits for Oklahoma State really quick. I think I told you guys about a couple of these yesterday, but you got a 6'8", 288-pound redshirt freshman from Tennessee State coming in, named Baguer Jean Germiot. It's literally French. Veguer, Baguer Jean Germiot. I think that's how you would say it. Baguer Jean Germiot. Junmeau. John Mo, maybe. Played in 12 games last year at Tennessee State. Massive frame, 6'7", 288. Still earning his playing career. But this is somebody that you look at. He's got length and leverage, right? So this is a big deal for Oklahoma State. I think he's probably a guy that can come in and maybe try for playing time, but he's absolutely in the future going to be a stud. And at that big length and the potential, you just love it. Maybe he comes in and he's a rotational piece this year. Hell, maybe he's got starter upside right away. If he ends up committing, that's a 41 out of 50, 42 out of 50. If he's what he will be in the future, it's like a 45 out of 50 on my meter. But I mean, you have to take him as he is, and he still has to develop a lot to play in the Big 12. Cade Walford, the Kent State wide receiver, 5'10", 190, who's a redshirt freshman. He had 19 catches for 509 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. You heard that right. 19 catches and 7 touchdowns. Insane number. It's not very often that you see that. He's a vertical threat, big play kid, tracks the ball well down the field, really dangerous in space, and you need speed and scoring juice at wide receiver. He will be visiting as well. You also have somebody I'm very familiar with. I studied his tape before West Virginia played him this year, and that's Jordan Jones from Ohio. He is a nasty interior offensive lineman, 6'3", 290, veteran Mid-American Conference lineman here, game tested. He's physical, and don't let him be in a little undersized fool you. He can really play. He's got really great functional strength. He's really bendy, and he's not flashy, but man, is he reliable. Plays with incredible balance too. This is a guy that would come in and probably be a starter right away in your interior or very close to it. He will be visiting. We talked about Iverson Hooks, he'd be a Cam Cook level ad for you guys, right? I mean, we're talking about big time additions for us on Cam Cook. Well, Iverson Hooks, 87 catches, 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns last year at UAB. And you guys are pushing hard for him. Remember, I broke this news early a couple weeks ago that Iverson Hooks' agent told me that you guys were pushing really hard for him, and you have a visit. So be looking out for that. As well as Joseph Hansen, Coastal Carolina, 6'5", 300 pounds, played in 10 games for them last year. He's prototypical size for Power 4 O-line at 6'5", 300. And he has got a big frame. He's really strong. He's got experience against multiple fronts. I think he can play inside or, at tackle, depending on what development track you want to send him down. And once again, this means for Oklahoma State, you need numbers and versatility up front. And he comes in and plays in your two deep immediately. Christian Bodnar, free safety from Liberty, 44 tackles in 12 games last year. Really reliable tackler in space. He's another developmental with starter potential. I think he'll stabilize your safety rotation and is a guy that you can bring in immediately. Here's the big one. Donovan Green. This is a high upside tight end from an SEC program at Texas A&M, former top 100 athlete. This is the one you want if you can get anybody. I've got this one at a 47 out of 50. I wouldn't watch him put his tape on. If you guys get Donovan Green, then good luck because he's a really good player. Here's the other thing. I thought Donovan Green played at LSU last year. Let me go look at this. Didn't Donovan Green play at LSU last year? He's the guy that colors on shoes, I thought. Let me make sure. Yeah, he played at LSU last year. Okay, I know this guy. So fun fact, Donovan Green almost committed to West Virginia last year. And he actually, for fun, he colors on shoes. And he's really good at it. So if he commits, I don't know what happened at LSU last year. He only had 2 catches for 40 yards. But I promise you, if you go turn the tape on from him, he is really good. I don't know why it didn't work out at LSU. I mean, they must have gave him a bag. He would have played a lot at West Virginia last year. But, I mean, this is a guy that you could see potentially, really, really killing it for you guys. So Donovan Green, name to watch for the Pokes, and go check out his shoe stuff. I'll message him on X as soon as we're done here because I know him. We talked for a couple weeks there at one point in time. I mean, we're not best friends, but I know him. He was actually, I had him convinced to do a Mountaineer Paul shoe. I was going to buy and send and pay him to do that. But it didn't work. So he didn't end up going to West Virginia. He went to LSU, which I understand why, but why though? He didn't play. This happens to people all the time. All right. So there's another big time one for West Virginia as well that is going to be on campus. That's on campus. I've just been given the go ahead to share this. And I'm going to give a shout out to where I got this information because, I feel like, sometimes, man, people don't do that enough. And Locked On Portal's Brian Smith called me this morning really early. Well, no, didn't call me. He texted me this morning really early. And, told me that West Virginia is getting a really good player that's going to be on campus today. It's Devin Voss from Oklahoma, or from goodness gracious, Kansas State. Guard that really didn't start out the year for them because they had a bunch of high-priced guards they brought in. He's the guy they switched from defensive tackle to O-line, and then over the course of the year came in and played at a really high level for them over the last 7 games. And as a guy they really didn't want to lose, and he left. He's a guy that, if you look at them last year, they really blocked it well in the run game. So Voss is a guy that you really would be really excited about for West Virginia if you were able to get him. So just keep your eye on that one. I'm excited about the potential of it. But, I just wanted to give my guy Brian Smith a shout out who called me today or texted me earlier and told me about this I'll let you know when it happened. I want to say it was around, let's see, it was at 10:36. That's when he sent it to me. So I immediately, started passing that name around to a few folks, and before I knew it, it was being reported. So, nobody took it from me. Like the people that I spoke to about it reported it. So, that's just how it goes. Like I only have some, I'm kind of the middleman in that situation in a way, right? I got a buddy that let me know he was coming. I texted the people that were usually on campus, and then they started reporting it. It's just how it works sometimes, but we'll see what happens. I think we're expecting good things. And that would be another Power 4 ad. And then you consider Cam Cook a Power 4 ad as well for West Virginia. And you look at Oklahoma State, they're adding Power 4 caliber guys. And even the North Texas guys, they've got like 7 or 8 guys that are all Power 4 caliber, right? They're all really good players. So, I feel like West Virginia and Oklahoma State are both really doing well right now. Obviously, Oklahoma State's in a different spot because they're flipping the whole roster. They're in the West Virginia spot from last year. West Virginia is a year ahead of that, but not far. I feel like Oklahoma State's already done a lot more than West Virginia did this year than we did last year because the investment is high. I've been told Oklahoma State has right around 30 million. So that's 20 and the cap number. That's what I was told. I don't know if Cody was told that or not, but that's what I was told. 20 and the cap number for Oklahoma State. So West Virginia was working with like the 15 or the 13 and like maybe 10. So, that's a full 10 million more for Oklahoma State, at least, which makes sense. They were able to afford a $7 million quarterback. Good God. All right, guys, we got to bounce out of here. I thank you guys so much for all of your support. We got a couple hundred people in here, so if you don't mind, hit that like button before you go. Share this video out. I would really appreciate that so much if you could. If you just get time, click the share button or get the the where you search for things and just copy and paste it and just post it on Facebook, on X, all those places. And share, subscribe, comment, and let me know how you feel about it. And let's make sure we keep telling Cody how much we love him and want him back as well. Other than that, guys, one other thing we got to let you know about, and then we'll let you go. The Everydayers Club. Cody and I both have this. It's called the Everydayers Club. It's at lockedonpodcasts.com/Everydayer Club, right? I'm going to put that link in the chat right now. If you click this, it's $5 a month. If you click that, it's $5 a month, and you get ad-free audio. You also get ad-free audio. You get access to a bunch of different kind of gear and stuff like that, and you also get a members free Discord, which you get to come in and hear intel, right, and different things from us that we may know or that Cody may know or that we're talking about, and you can share ideas. Probably do mailbags in there, the like. Well worth your money to do it, and I would highly suggest it. And that way we can start building these communities, and we can have them, and we can go from there. Thank you guys so much. And we're almost to 10K for Cody. We just went over 7K for Locked On West Virginia. So we're really trying hard to help both channels and all that. So other than that, guys, I'm ready to roll out of here. We will see you on the next one. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. West Virginia plays Cincinnati tonight, so I got to go watch that, talk about that. If one of these guys commits, I got to be ready to do that. So we got plenty to be busy about. We'll talk to you later when it happens. Right here on Locked On West Virginia and Oklahoma State. I'm out.